Yeah. So it was like a relationship that I started 6 days after I joined the ship. And well, for me, it was not a person wokuti I shanda shifts. He was somebody who was like a guest aita his own business there. So I didn't want to at first I was scared because ndaifunga guest. Because he wasn't wearing any uniforms, he had his own business. So I was trying to understand his business. Okay, what do you do? And he would try to explain, but I would not get it. No, not really. All the only the information and 99 kuti kunoshandwa, it's no child's game, akugarike, it was all about kunoshandwa. And it would inflict fear. Oh my God, am I going to make it? Whatever. But with time, he was like, no, I want you to move in so quickly. I want you to take care of you. It was super, super, super fast. And then, so ndakasita heartbreak. Yatova history paya. Imo muship makanakidza se. Naisingatoziva kuti kashipi inonakidza kushandira kukatanga relationship. But the reason why they want to do medicals, because ship, it's a very small place, it's very confined, and then it's just like a Kalitu Harare kashipi keke. But when they do your medicals, they are trying to limit you from kuti kana waenda ikoko haufaniri kurwara straight, because sometimes you spend like 2 days at sea and it kokarwara serious or whatever. So they want
Wagwan. My name is DJ Sparks and welcome back again pa Uncensored podcast panapa tinokurukura nyaya dzakasiyana-siyana dzinenge dzichiitika musoro nhasi tine nyaya iri different. Tina guest watinaye anonzi Patience akambonge achishanda kumaship, saka ane information yatinoda kuyatsoziva because kumaship tinonzwa zvakawandisa zvinoitika ikoko, saka I'm sure kana ngone data rakupera gara wabva wajusa kuitira kuti unyatsozive zvinhu izvi, because chishuwo chedu takanzwa kuti kune mari, takanzwa zvakawanda about ship, saka nhasi tichanyatsoona information from munhu anga ariko, akanga ariko for nguva yakati rebei. Saka muri Zimbabwe tisati tawanza kutaura, like always ndina co-host wangu Sis Shandi. Tete Shandi wagwana?
What say DJ?
Kwangu risei vacation.
Vacation kwaifaro.
Musikana anga ari kubirthday vacation baba.
Aiwa musikana ari grateful, musikana akaenjoy.
Akafana ere musikana?
Ndakaenjoy.
Last time ndaitobvunza kuti kweshanda ari kupi tikati Shandi minoda nororiwe here ikoko.
Kana tatangonofara, kana ndakunororiwa ndichavaudza.
Guys, engobudisa ruoko munayo netwa ungoti panongobudiswa ruoko ndoengoti rwa picture. Maize
the goats yangu munari respected.
Oyo po.
So I'd post a face. For now mchabona ruoko ne watch. Ne makubo.
Tego asidai peshi. Boy ere kuti wandika ndokudaidza kati maybe ndakudaidza ku South Africa ndika chichika ko mari yangu akakola down ndika but tinokwanisa kuzongoposta chete iruoko rwangu newachi zviri fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair for some reason, because pange pane ka respect kanenge karipo kongoti haungofanira kungoratidzwa kwauri so.
Thank you. Sparks,
because it's not about I'm trying to hide you, but it's about some circumstances that maybe you won't understand, but those guys will understand.
It's not like it's not like Pluto nekuyo cheteka. Titombozvitikawo banditofila kuti
but wagona roko rwakaurizive.
Unozoti there is no way that I will go maoko enyu anofanana, even ndikadanana newe nditi tikatora ruoko rwako takaisa ruoko tisi and ndikaenda to the next one maoko unotoona kuti rarisi ruoko rwangu
ruoko runokochembera futi
une maissues
ruoko runokochembera bozi chotikachikutika munhu aikona ngachembera asi proud naye, asi aine mari yaanotese yaanenge achida
saka utaura kuti vanenge vada kutopostawo here but tinongozoposta
maomasikana vanenge vachinyara anesuka pastera yacho
kana it's a way of respect.
Ungopostirwa kapassport neruoko
kangori that you won't understand.
Anyway,
girl thing.
Anyway, welcome to the show, my sister Patience.
Thank you.
Should I say?
And I'm okay. Ndiri bozvangu.
Maybe tingangodoka short background because last time ndaingotangira panyaya dzavanhu vakazoti tinosimbotipewo timbonzo kuti munhu ndiani uyu. Anambonzipe.
Okay, so I'm gonna mix Chirungu and
It's okay, no problem.
So my name is Patience Mangani, and okay, what can I say about me? I'm a mom. I've got 2 girls, and I'm single.
I'm searching.
I'm single.
When is-
And I was married before. So yeah, so I think that's basically about me. And I grew up in Bulawayo. I've got my brothers. I have 5 of my brothers, older brothers, and I'm the only girl at home. So I'm a bit spoiled. So those that are looking could maybe any potential moto are careful because the boys are running footage, you know. So, so you know, even if you are old, as long as you're the only sister, they are so protective. So I can actually say those 5 boys are my everything.
Well,
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
of course my 2 girls.
All right. Tatendera still. I know to mama to information dzakasiyana about nyaya dzemaships
Yeah.
dzida tibvunze. But obviously first question yangu ichatanga pakuti chii chakaita kuti muzosvika pakuti ano ini ndakudecide kuti ndimboende kumaship.
Okay, so wow, I'm gonna take a heartbreak back.
All right.
But anyway, it's fine. I can talk about it now. Well, like I told you, like I mentioned, Kuti, I was married before, and I got divorced sometime in 2022, and I had my kamwana kangu, I had my little daughter. She was, you know, when I was going through that divorce, I was still breastfeeding. So that was the toughest year of my life, 2021, when my baby was born. Up until the whole year, up until I decided, okay, I think I have to pack and leave. That was like end of exactly December 2021. And then 2022, I went back home in Bulawayo. And then ndikavanda tanga kuita 102 because I was always hustling anyway. So saka I was selling this and that, but you know, I've gone back home where I haven't been for years. And then now I have to find clients and then, you know, trying to settle. So somehow I knew about cruise ships before. It's something that I had tried, but then it just didn't work out. I tried it before I even got married. And then at the time, Ndakavanda moved into Victoria Falls. And then that's when I was like, okay, let me try to apply. Apply. And I only applied to one company. That's how blessed I was. I want to use the word blessed. That's how blessed I was. I just applied to one company. I had an interview, you know, because I remember I applied 2022 June or July. June. And then August, I already had the offer letter from that company. And then...
But information yakazara.
Not really. No, not really. All the only the information yanandinaende kuti kunoshandwa, you know, it's no child's game, you know, akugarike, you know, it was all about kunoshandwa, you know, and it would inflict fear. Kuti, oh my God, am I gonna make it, you know? Well, I never came through, you know, izvozvo kuti hanzi kunodyiwa vanhu kana kuti the only information that we had that I had at that time in Nini personally was kushandwa. Because in my mind, I wasn't thinking about any relationships or whatever because I was already going through a lot. So, zvekuzodyiwa kwemunhu, it's something that you find out waikoko manje. Kuti, okay, how are people eating here? But at that time, yanga ingonyaya kuti kunoshandwa. So, you know, we went prepared kuti kunoshandwa.
But obviously nyedu without nyanzo nzwisise edu nezve kuma cruise but panomvunzongo chingogana
kuti when you want to ask something and you start to explain yourself, I get scared.
Kuti chakaitika kumarriage chakazoita but still for now ngandingoseya nazvo shandu zvakosekerere ipapo uda kuziva chakaitika kumarriage wewe kuti chichakaita kuti marriage iyo but still yati muende saka pamakatanga kuenda munobva kunoku muchizonokukwirira kupi koshipi yacho zviyatsofamba sei?
Okay, so my first time ndakaenda ndichinokwirira ship ku-USA in Los Angeles.
All right.
So the company actually prepares you from the time they say, okay, we want you, this is your offer letter that we have given you. Saka, let's start the process. When I talk about the process, you need visa, you need medicals. You know, at that time, kunana 2022, Princess didn't require any, all those kind of things. Like now, my STCW and stuff like that. It's something that I don't know, even if you ask me. But because Princess, they only wanted medicals, they only wanted the visa and police clearance.
Right.
And then when you send them those, that's it. And then they send you your flight ticket. And then, of course, the companies, they have this anima procedures that they go through, like they've got an app or they've got a system where you can actually log in and then you find whatever that you want to know about you're going to work. Like when I'm talking about Princess, the crew self-service, so you can just log in and then you check kuti urukwenda kushipi ipi muswakati. And when your contract is valid for this long, and then my flights they are already there, and then to your emails, that's when they send you the hotels, then they send you like all the information that you need to know from the time Unoshkapa airport, who's going to pick you, what kind of a bus is going to pick you, and you have your reservation, hotel, gara. And then all that thing is like in order.
Right.
So that's how it was for me. So it was quite an experience. It was my first time to be in a long flight. So yeah, basically that's it for the first timers. In fact, for all your contracts, that's how it happens. So all you need to do is whatever process yako, they will ask you kuti airport yako ndeipi. So ndakanotice kuti a lot of people anenge achigara Bulawayo obva anyora kuti main airport Harare, then they are forced kuzodrive or kukwira bhazi kuya kuno. You can use your airport, whether in Vic Falls, you're in, as long as they're in an international, it's an international airport, it works. They find a way to connect you from where you are to wherever you're supposed to be going.
Parapa makashitana nyaya dzemamedicals, because ndaitaura nemumwe munhu nditi nyaya dzichitaura, because since dzatotaura dzichiitika dzaonositombinde ikuku nyaya dzedu dzaonositombinde ikuku
tinotozoshamsira kuti where are they getting this?
Like yoita nyaya yekuti zvinhu hanzi panyaya dzemamedicals hanzi mushipi mune musina munhu anenge aine chirwere kana AIDS vanobva kumisa because mune muchirwa enlargement last.
Is that the reason you're enlargement?
I think I need to have a sip of water.
Saka shamboenda panapa ndono kuchibvunza ako zvine musoro ini ndabvunza ako
naoza nasparks tichasvikisana kure sure nema questions
process yekutestwa yakamira sei kuti kuna mwana kwakutotyira kuti maybe ndanga ndine muzvezve kana ndine chirwere handichatoapply pangoda kuendawo chimwe yadzotudza panyaya dzekutestwa kunenge kwamira sei mune clean jet iri mumvura?
Well, I'm clean, but anyway, I'll explain. So panyedze, on this issue, I know a lot of people actually have asked me, kuti, kwesusu tine HIV, tine ma BP, are we allowed to go and pass my medicals and, is it going to work? Yes, it's because when you do your medicals, they're actually checking everything. Your blood, and then kana uine HIV, they check antiviral load.
Right.
So they check your viral load. It has to be, I don't know if it has to be high or low, but okay, but they check your viral load. In fact, they know, or people living with the HIV, they know their viral load has to be at a minimum or at a whatever it has to be. So that's what they check.
pane mwe load isingazoiti
Pane mwe load isingaiti. So pane mwe load inotolerate kunzi ukaenda ikoko ukaita ma-medicals and then load yachona isingatolerate iyoyo. They say, okay, go take your medication properly, because I think it's for those people who are still kutora their medication properly. So take your medication properly until viral load ya whatever they want it, where they want it to be, and then they can process. And then on your medicals they state kuti you une some condition. Like I can give an example for me. I'm a high blood pressure patient. So it's something chakabata when I went to my ships when I went. So I started, so now vanenge vakuti kana uine that condition ye blood pressure nditi, you have to tell the doctor kuti you have that condition, you're on medication, what type of medication, and then it has to be written down so that kana waenda ikoko and then maybe there's a problem kana urungo suffer with high blood pressure, they know. Just like when you're asthmatic, you have to state whatever condition that you are in so that they know, and then they know how to manage it. And even kubasa kwachuna, they will know kuti vanoku station away exactly if you are to tell them kuti ndine blood pressure yangu inflictor because spakanta or something or ndine asthma konzerwa ndikashanda in confined environment or something like that, then they can put you in an open area, so medicals, they are not limiting people kuti ukanaone HIV awo, takatosangana taitovako vane HIV nevasina, vane mabp nevasina, saka you just have to take your medication properly. Kana uri bp kana uri, you just tell the truth to the doctor ari kunokuita ma-medicals kuti this is my condition, so that you can be helped better, because vamwe vanoda kunyepa, but it's going to be a problem when you go on the ship. That's when you find kuti vamwe vaenda ikoko wakudzoka kumba within 2 months because they are saying you're not fit for duty, all that kind of things. So it's something that you have to openly tell Dr. Kulita medicals, and then you tell them, I'm HIV, just take your proper medication, proper diet, and then you'll get there. Everything will be
fine. So which means nyangane ane mzvezve akana kuenda nawo
nawo freely.
Why do kudaro ka? Ndempeso wangu nini ndika? Ane musikana wake ngari kuside koko. Patakutara nyaya idzi dzekuti akunolazwa munhu mbicha usotopapindura ipapo. Akunolazwa munhu. Ngavura no mukona chiboys. Want to test kwa kutopinda wakutobuda saka vanongakachena. Saka
aidifenda baby.
Aidifenda baby.
Aidifenda baby ka. Saka aidifenda no boys mwana ari kubva kushipu.
Ari clean.
Pa wotserendeda.
No, unotokwanisa kutobva nechirwere chako kuno nacho. You can manage it in
but hauzozadzi vamwe ere kushipo.
I don't know. Now I don't know, because in this case, and it is just the same as here. It's not really about kuchanzi kumaship unozadza vanhu. It's just the same as here, because I don't know kana uchimwa, you don't know kana ndichimwa nditi. And tinongonotozadzana tiri kunoko. But true. The reason why they want to do medicals, because ship, it's a very small place, it's very confined, and then it's just like a Kalitu Harare kashipi keke. But when they do your medicals, they are trying to limit you from kuti kana waenda ikoko aufani kurwara straight, because sometimes you spend like 2 days at sea and it koka rwara serious or whatever. So they want to know, or they want to manage that chirwere chawe nacho, like in terms of, like, let's talk about HIV, because it looks like that's what he's interested in anyway. Yeah. So like HIV and it kana vachitaura kuti doctor kati your viral load has to be at some certain whatever and it. They are trying to say, okay, unofana kuenda ikoko uri as healthy as you can, because probably havana medication, because antokudzoti you have to carry your own medication 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So when kanaji wabva nechirwere chako kuno, you have to carry your own medication that you fits your contract. Kana une contract 6 months, kana 5 months or 4 months, you have to carry enough medication.
Some daumbonzisisa mashipi munochiti makabuda na ship 6 months zomgori mishipi yakati munobodzoka mchimbele sezvinyatsifambaza.
Okay, like for example, inini, like my ship would sail. You don't really stay mumvura for more than 2 days. Wow. The longest for me was 2 days. I haven't been to a world, what do you call it? World ship or world, in a world, whatever. You go around the world from Asia to Africa. But the least that you can stay Mumvura is 2 days because ikafamba from LA, it's going to go to the next stop. Maybe it's going to take a day and then 2 days, So that's the most time that I stayed in Mumvura, like 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Or mambo.
Yotombomira, and then you can go out and then you shop, you can go whatever you want to do depending. Time yako that's where people don't understand because I have got questions okay, tunokona, how what unowana time kupi to go out. When you go out of the ship, you go out at your own time, not kuti ship ya mira, then you can go because you're supposed to be per shift. You're supposed to be basa whether yaka mira. Saka during time ye break yako your own spare time, that's when you can go outside and do whatever you want to do. Kana uine free time 3 hours, it means you have to manage your 3 hours outside.
Wakanonoka
Bas. You just no. Okay, because paunobuda pa ship vanenge vakanyora time kuti everybody, whether you cannot my guest, they have to come back at 5. So you and my guest, usually for crew vanoti, it has to come back like 30 minutes before guest. So if kana ship isumkana 6, vanogona kuti my guest anofana kusvika by 5:30, crew inofana kusvika by 5. Saka iwewe kunonoka, you cannot be late. It's an offense. Kumisa ship iwewe wanonoka is a crew, So it's a discipline. You can be disciplined for being late.
All right.
Saka they always teach you all those things, uchishika kuti, you have to abide by them. Saka paunobuda, you have to go and manage your own time. Kana only 3 hours, but usually vanokona kana chibuda ma break avo are within up to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, So you're still within time. We want to go to my son anytime, my bus anytime, no time ship. But no my son anytime ship my guests.
Oh, asimi mnemjigara mumship mnemma rooms enyu.
Yeah. There is we have our own rooms there, depending name, what do you call it? Depending ne basarako. They are different. Pane vamwe vanogara vari 1-1, pane vamwe vanogara vari 2-2, pane vamwe vanogara, in big rooms depending with your position.
Saka vanogara vari ma 1-1 ndo vakaita sei?
Inenge iri more like my officers. If you talk about officers, we're talking about what? We're talking about people working the bridge, my captain, my managers, managers generally. You are not my officers.
Okay.
So muri 2-2.
Yeah, mostly munogona muri 2 in a smaller room, munogona muri 2 in a big room, depending on the department as well. Ira unengo chishandira, yeah.
Right. Kusaka mjolo munozo.
Yeah, relationships atori kutodaro. There's relationships, like I've seen even vakadzi vanhu vachiti na married or mwachiti nini I'm single, or a married man achitoita a proper relationship, yekutoti 6 months tese takutomove in, mostly you then move in or whatever, nakutogara mese paya
utosiya muri
iri kuno Zimbabwe.
Asi motovhumidza kuti tombogara nemesi tomboti.
Yeah, nobody really cares where you're sleeping as long as you come on duty. You have to come to work on time. Kuti warara kupi, ndarara kwa Spark kana ndarara kwani, it's not their business.
Kana kwa manager.
Yeah, I can sleep kana kwa captain. Kwandarara hazvina basa, but relationships are there despite kuti Sparks akarora, Sparks anaurora, akutariswe izvozvo. And there's also what they call my links. Like kana tafarirana tadanana zvakanaka, we can go to the HR and say, okay, we want to work in the same ship. Toda toshanda same ship throughout our contracts. I've seen a couple that have been doing that. The guy is married, and uko kwantoti murume nemukadzi, but right. We know that the guy is married, so but it's not our business. It's in the ship. Tototi bamkuru titoye bameni anenge
pakuzodanana nema passengers.
Well, I've never witnessed that, but it's something that is not allowed. If you are to have a passenger anouya as your visitor, anenge ari like let's say for example ndine boyfriend yangu wants to visit me there, they can accommodate and say okay, either he anobhadhara a certain amount or anopiwa a discount, anditi anoti anompa discount rather, and then ouya kana kuruti like myself, kana kuruti inini ndenge ndiri a sharing room, it means kuti akauya haachakwanisi kugara neni, so vanomupa a passenger a guest room, anditi and then inini I can go there, but it has to be, they have to be notified kuti munhu auya haisi passenger, auya because of me, you know. So zvekuzoti wasodheta passenger, I don't think it's something that you have to say out. It can be your secret because hazvibvumidzwi, or it's something yekuti unozo maybe mozobuda kana panobuda ship oti mozoenda kulunch, or you can go for coffee or whatever.
Okay.
Right. Zvivira vanhu but hazvizobvumidzwi.
Hazvibvumidzwi, but unozo singabvumidzwi ndizvo zvinoda kuita vanhu, but inini hangu I haven't witnessed it as yet. I've only witnessed people who come and then vachitoti haatovinga peshi, you know. Right. So yeah.
Asi mimi maamboitwa relationship magara ngwe yakareba sei muri kusaidu?
2 years.
2 years. Mamuri relationship?
Yeah, I did got in a very serious relationship that I never thought it was going to be serious. So
after marriage babo?
Yeah. So
faster muchingopinde mship.
Not really the first time. The first time I was trying to manage, you know, we didn't talk about me, like my first time in the ship. It was something that was really tough, you know. That's when I got my blood pressure and stuff, and I didn't manage to have a relationship my first time, my first contract. It was 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah. But then by the time I got used, it was around 5-6 months. That's when I had like really settled. That's when I felt like I had healed. Because remember, I had left a baby. I had left my daughter. She was 8 months. So I was really trying to adjust from that, you know, to say, okay, manongu, you know, all those kind of things. And I used to cry a lot. I used to cry because of the heartbreak. I used to cry because I was trying to adjust. So I never had any chance to really be in a relationship my first time. But when I went back for the second time, I met...
Mama's baba.
Yeah, that was baba.
So 8 months is mango dipedza, you know, in last minute.
Yeah, kutopedza, it was just work and work and work and work for me. And I made friends. I made friends. And you know, funny enough, the girls that I made friends with, they were not even in a relationship also.
Correct.
So it was like 2 of those girls that really made me going. I told them about what was going on. And then the other one shared a story. It was almost similar to mine. So it was like, you know, you can make it in India. I'm now building my house. You know, you can do this. Just work and work and work. So for me, I had motivation. If I want to go to the bar and have a drink, I know I'm going with somebody who is single. So I think... Plus, in my mind, you know that thing, like, maybe you can tell Shanti Guti, kana waita heartbreak, chaichayo. You know, your heart, like, shuts. So, Guti, you don't want to be with somebody.
I'm a giver.
No, but moyo, you know, like a giver, but, you know, when the heart wants whatever it wants.
Sparks, like, heartbreak.
You give yourself a break. Munotoninyenga kugonimirira nemota yako apa, but moyo unenge wakangosviba, you don't open your heart.
Kana ndogona kutokupa chance, but
ndisiripo.
Ndendirimo relationship for the sake of ukundida relationship. Exactly. Hatina chatinoita relationship imomo. Ndokuda ndiri kumba kwedu. Once we met, I feel like
I'm not there, like,
exactly.
But you know, but when
inini ndakatozva like kubva ndine nhumbi ine 5 months tiu mwana wangu ane gore.
Exactly.
Alright.
It's very much possible with
ladies. You
don't even, you just feel like maybe the brother yangu or whatever.
Ndaida vanhu vanondi entertainer. Pafoni vanhu kuti vanondifonera vantaura nini, but I didn't want to meet people.
Even going out, let's go for drinks. You don't want to do that. Even when I was here, I had my friend who always wanted to take.
Oh, Msadaro. Oh,
But anyway, I'm trying to make you
Msadaro
understand. Usangofungire zvisina basa Spark.
no, Msadaro boys.
Kotori neboys dziri kuita go through that. Unotaura kuti ndine bepa ndoduriona. Ona. So
kuzoita magevha tinozotaura kuti magevha.
Plus unoziva zvougevha ndezvokuti zvandoda kuti muone I can make it, I can do things zvokuti muone, and then but deep inside I'm going through a lot.
You can pretend.
Yeah. Pretend exactly. Yeah, maybe if you can say that.
I understand.
So when I went back, that's when I felt like, okay, not really good. I was prepared to be in a relationship that time, but it just so happened that I arrived on a Saturday. I remember on the 6th of February, my first date with the guy was on the 14th of February, on the Valentine's Day. Yeah. So it was like a relationship that I started 6 days after I joined the ship. And, well, for me, it was not a person who I shanda shifts. He was somebody who was like a guest, aita his own business there. So I didn't want to. At first, I was scared because Ndaifunga guest, because he wasn't wearing any uniforms. He had his own business. So I was trying to understand his business. Okay, what do you do? And he would try to explain, but I would not get it. But and I was even scared because I don't get my rooms. No, he's from Europe.
Right.
He's from Italy. So, Saka, for me, it was hard. Okay, whatever. But with time, he was like, no, I want you to move in so quickly. I want you to take care of you. It was super, super, super fast. And then, so ndakasita heartbreak. Yatova history paya. Imo muship makanakidza se. Naisingatoziva kuti kashipi inonakidza kushandira kakatanga relationship. If you get the right person, ndasingatoziva kuti shipi inonakidza paya.
After work then munoona chimudhara chidutu.
For me, inini manje I had to abide by my shifts, my breaks were limited. And then for him, because he was doing his own business, because he was a jeweler, so he would bring his own jewelry and then he would be selling it. And then he closes his shop. He can leave his work anytime. So he would leave, and he was eating in the restaurants. He had my guest privileges. So for me, I was just like, one of those people. You could have gotten an officer, a manager, whatever. But he, for me, one of those little people, will be like, this guy would date. So yeah. So Ia is the one who used to come to where I used to work. Or when I get break, he would also close his shop and then come, and then we spend time. So I ended up staying with him because he had bigger space. He had a guest room, so we were married. Toita married chai toti wangozoshota evidence yemwana chete that time, but we were working towards that. Yeah, saka it was really a nice contract for me. So yeah. My relationships antoitika zvekutodaro, but inini angu my advice is like when you're on the ship, just have like a proper relationship. It might lead to somewhere, it might not. I've seen people getting engaged. I've seen people go to visiting each other. I have done that, gone to Italy and then meet family, and then we were in the process of him coming here and stuff like that. But all I'm saying is my advice is kuti relationships in the ship, they can actually be something. People have gotten married. I know our relationship in Nini at this moment, there's just some things that is going on that I prefer to keep to myself at this moment, that I don't want to share. But I don't know, it might work, it might not, but we just had some kind of like misunderstanding. between the two. Yeah, I think my Zimbabwean ancestors, they are upset. Saka I think maybe ndofana kumboita kadore papa before ndanokwira ndege ndomboti sekuru ndakudzokera kuya saka itai kuti murungu adi. Yeah, adzoke. So, but anyway, but anyway, so yeah, I think we're not. It's not really like how it used to be, but I don't know if we're gonna manage to work it out or not. But
okay, Ndika, I don't know man.
Yeah, maybe, but we'll see.
Well, some I figured
Sparks.
Maybe I didn't hear properly. But
anyway,
okay.
I think mwana ngande mwana kuti pada kumwana apa nemitaliano
okay
pada kamwana saka pamakambirona bebe asi maishandisa macondoms
sparks. So tichiri kubvunza zvemacruise ship here vanhu makubvunza interview is it now about me or it's now about what
ava kungobvunza inini zvakungondipindura
katidzokera kuheading musoro wenyaya let's go back
Okay.
maybe it's now about me interested ndichasara ndije kuchitiradza picture zvandiri
ndiri padhuze chikotaridzawo
kuonakuradza kana takupanze.
Okay, my next question is we know kuti mu cruise ship munenge mune vanhu from different cultures, both my passengers and my cruise members. And how did you manage that, coming from different places, different backgrounds?
For me, if I want to talk about the first time, it wasn't really much of a challenge for me because Pandagashika, my roommate, it was actually our first time Tese.
Okay.
So she was from Serbia, and she's pure white and I'm black. But fun enough, we got along really, really well. Like we got so close. Like we didn't want to be separated. Because they kept on changing us my rooms from this room to the other. So we always told them we wanna stay together. So in terms of roommate, I never had any issues despite kuti she's white or she's from Serbia or she's whatever. In the ear, she never be like, she's black, I don't want to touch this or I don't want to touch that. Yeah. Everything was equal. Our things were there. If she goes out, she knows she's got a roommate that needs to eat, that needs to drink. I knew what she liked to drink. I knew what she liked to do. When you're roommates, kuti inini I used to like cleaning. So I used to clean a lot. She never used to clean. I go na to prepare us, like what are we gonna eat, to prepare our dressing table. So she would fix a bed and then fix mine because naenda early kubasa. So we were getting along, and then kubasa chaiko. Of course, there is you could actually see favoritism in terms of like because Princess had a lot of Filipinos. Saka Filipinos were dominator because when I got there, they said we had like 1,500 employees. 1,500 employees, right? I think about 700 to 800 was Filipinos. And then they said 600 was Filipinos, 400 was Indians. Then 500 was being shared amongst 40 nationalities.
Yeah.
So you can imagine. So now, Filipinos, of course, since they stay in the ship forever, they never leave. They leave Kanavaku no fighting because we have got old people there working there. One got 30 years, I've been here. So, I think Vatuitaka community, they feel like the ship belongs to them. Because Kudara, it was only them and the Indians, but mostly them. And then the other nationalities on our team, and now they feel challenged. Because even Vanutanga from the bottom, like from literally down there, But when you see a black person coming from here, I'm going there as a server, I'm going there guest services, but iwo unonzwa kuti ndane 30 years ndakatanga ndichisuka maplates kana ndakatanga ndichisuka matoilets, for me to be where I am, and it's not even far from wherever they are saying they came from. So because of that, pane ma-managers ndeikoko saka vanotanga kupa vanhu vavo easy jobs, easy places to work, ma-restaurants anenge achinza nemari ane ma-tips, and then unogona kuiswa kunosvika kana muchishandira pazuva ndounoiswa pazuva, so all that thing. But what I learned from that, I learned kuti if you keep quiet, trust me, they'll shove you and they'll shove you. So for me, if you tell me kuti unoita izvozvo, when you said no, I'll tell them no, I'm not gonna do it. And riite basa rarambwa nemumunhu, despite who you are, I don't care. So I believe kuti, but what I've seen, especially from my fellow Zimbabweans, ndivaya vanongoti, it's okay, like, you want to be holy, you want to be seen as the munhu asingakomplaini stereki. But if you do that, you're the person that they will use, because they know kuti patients are not what no. Patients are not what, why are you doing this? So it's that kind of thing. Favoritism is there. I don't know if I should put it as racism or whatever. I don't know, because in racism, I don't know if I faced it. Maybe because I know how to stand up for myself and I can speak. But I worked in the best restaurants. I don't want to lie.
Right.
And kunotonzi kwachona kuenda nevanhu vatema, that's where I was. So, but at the same time, you would hear another fellow Zimbabwean complain, they're doing this to me, they're doing that to me, another Kenyan or whatever, black people, they are always like, and you can actually see it's unfair. But it's something that I personally, Ninangu, didn't face.
All right. So, pana zvamune ndishandisa because ndakanzwa kumwe achiti ndi machengetera munoita mari munozongopiwa yeseka 1 chokwadi kana kuti
No, it's not true. Paunongosvika kubasa, the first thing they work on is to give you your bank card. Vanotokuvhurira your bank card, unotosvika ritori ready. Paunotosvika vanenge vachikuexpecta, so everything you find it, you've got everything in your name, like your bank card is already there, your key card is already written in your name, you've got this and that. So that's the first thing that they give you, and they train you, actually not with a training, to teach you how to use it. If you've got any emergency, if you've got any questions, where you're gonna ask about it, phone and stuff like that. So, and then Marie, Pinda, every month you get your salary. And with Princess, it had my ATM, so you can withdraw cash, US dollar in there for free. Yeah. It was for free, or they were charging $3, I'm not sure. But it should be silly amount that they charge you for your for withdrawing money, muship. And then you can do online purchases, and then they can bring them for you ku ship.
All right. Ko chandisinganzwisisi zvangu ndechekuti zvoni mushipi umu mune nyaya ndechi ndikuti vanonga vakola here, vanonga vachiita sei, vanonga vari kuenda here, chii chine chimbo yazoitika?
Yeah, of course. Paunopinda muship, like I told you, kuti it can start from Los Angeles. It can sail around like LA, San Diego, Santa Barbara, and then zimwe in Mexico, whatever. Then it comes back. Painodzoka nipaineta 2 days in water. Then painodzoka yangodzoka straight to LA, to wherever it's coming from. You have to dzoka, like my favorite ship. We used to go from Miami. So it would be Miami, then to end up Caribbean, like St. Thomas. I remember we went to Puerto Rico. So it will go and then come back. I
remember Puerto Rico.
You were there, I know. So it will go, and then it comes back, and then your dropper.
Right.
And then we pick new passengers. It goes, same route, or it comes back. Then sometimes it's changer, but usually it goes and then it comes back. So that's how it works. Saka vanhu vanotopinda chiziva kuti iri kushandisa route yekuenda kuSt Thomas and Martins this yozobudikira Puerto Rico, from there yakuita 2 days to come back, vakuburuka vakuenda kwakupinda vamwe wanyuwani. Vamwe vanotoita back to back kutodzokorodza chaiko.
Alright. I think ndanzwisisa because inzwa pane nzonye kumaship zvandaifunga pangu nangoita ship inobva kana paSouth Africa pane yakananga kana kuti kuChina uko
ndozvandaitofungawo izvozvo
isina kana kumira.
muchingogara muri mumvura chete muchingogara muri mumvura chete ende munenge muchingoenda bo takanzwa ndinofamba shoma neshoma.
No, inoita ichimbomira. Dziriko dzekuCape Town hadzo, but I don't know how those works, but
Alright.
yeah.
Because zviri risky zviri mumvura imomo zvamunosangana zviri risky. Ambosangana nemwezi zihove zviziya hauna zihove nziziya takana sacho mani exactly.
Mawo, we used to see them and we'd be like, wow, look at the whales. You know, they don't affect anything per ship. I think they will be like a little bit far from the ship, but they don't affect in any way. No, the only thing that happens that I don't think it's a risk actually is like rough seas, because those ships are built in a way kuti anenge ane stabilizer, so they can switch on the stabilizer to stabilize the ship to avoid like to feel, because that's when you can start to feel sick and dizzy and start throwing up and stuff like that. But I don't know, I haven't seen any risks ekutoti there can be an accident kudhumira kana kuti shove inojamba yopinda or something.
Because haisinyaya dzedu ukadzaona asina kumbokuenda ikoko dzatitigadzira mumastreets kuti aiwa no ona tongorovera kana kuti chii unozva zvakaita Titanic paipa chichichi tichigadza zvakadaro saka hazvitotyisa utombofila kuti uri mumvura
No, as long as the sea is calm, you don't even feel like uri mumvura. Unotofamba titoita zvatachitoita tiri panze apo takatogara. Kana tapedza basa, we go to the bar, drink. If there's a party, takuziva kuti akunosheka-sheka, you know, kana kuri kuti madoina muroom munovharirana, moda kuchila muroom menyu, watch a movie in your room. I'm trying to make you understand, like, it's actually normal. Like, you go to work, like, yeah, normal.
But shipping on ukura sei,
well, my first ship was really huge. It was a 4,500 passenger ship with 1,500 crew.
But
I don't know about tons, but you know, it was huge. It was huge. Like if you're walking from the back of the ship to the front, you can need like 10 minutes maybe. Just to walk from wherever uchienda, because the ship has got elevators. You know, all those things. You cut my shortcut, wakanoda kuenda kuroom yangu from work, panowantoziva kuti ndikaenda neukoko handionekwi, ndikaenda neukoko, you know, it's shortcut or something like that. But that ship was huge. It literally was big. It had like 18 floors, 19 floors.
Yeah.
Okay. Kopane nyaya dzatinombonzwa mastreets dzekuti kana muri macruise members, you end up makuforcwa like kurara nemapassengers.
Nothing like that.
Hakuna zvakadaro.
Who forces who?
Zvine zvingotaurwa mastreets.
No.
Do you
know pane nyaya yakambotrenda yemuZimbabwe ndaizonzi akarepa chichichi?
Yeah.
Zvichinzi haana kurepa vakange vadanana and stuff.
That's the thing, yekuti musadanane nemaguests. Because that boundary has to be there, you know, because sometimes, you know, guests no gonna queer like you, maybe say, I don't know what happened, I remember the story.
Yeah.
But probably the guests, this is like my assumption, guests rakangomfarira rakadhaka or something. Uya kuroom kwangu waenda, ozomuka makusena, arara nemunhu mutema. Then they start to report or something. That's my thinking. But you know, that's why they always tell us, even in Koko, they tell us you have to be careful nema guests. Because these people, you can even, like, isusu bataiva saver, you can be saver or saver. And then, okusekera, thank you, you're amazing. But also, mangwana boss wako akuya kuti guest kuti you wakamita so you were very rude. So those are the people that you're not supposed to even trust.
Okay.
Yeah, nyango mukaita close say and what. And I even have, guests that I still talk to even now from Princess, and I tell them, I quit. I'm not there anymore. They'll be like, we wanted to come back because of you. So you can get along with those you can create relationships. You could do some, they can invite you to say, okay, I want you to come to my house.
Alright.
You can visit each other and stuff like that. But because at that moment, but mangwana, you hear a different story. Okay. So that's why they try to tell us, in Ango, I haven't faced anything. I was forced to do things that I did not want. Even if a manager wants me and I don't want, I was never forced.
But right on boy ticket.
No, not Kwandiri, because I'm very, very straightforward. That's why I'm saying, if you don't like something, you have to, because we have got the right to speak up. And that speaking up, they always tell you about it. You need to speak up. If you go to report to the HR and the HR doesn't do anything, there is an email decorated, you can report this further. So, okay. And if I report a manager to the HR and the HR summons the manager to their office, and then they retaliate, or whatever, they are not even allowed to retaliate. They are not even allowed to come and ask me, why did you go to report me? So I just believe with my fellow countrymates, they are scared or they don't know Andizivi. But it's actually there. I'm one to reporter, but they are not doing anything. Sometimes it's like that. But in for my cases that I've reported, I saw changes. I've had, my disagreements with my manager, and then I went to the HR. And I remember when I went there, I told them, I'm not going to let you call him later. You're going to call him now. So it's all about you when a confidence that you cannot do that. I'm also human despite kuti hanzi ndiri mutema. But if I'm one who chakaenda unoreport, and if I'm one to report on HR, but if you go to report, if it's me no report, I tell them you need to bring that person here now ndiripo. Don't say what you want. Well, that's me.
Level of security, like the police.
Yeah, we have security, but the security is not only to watch us, our moves or whatever. It's also to watch the guests. So vapinda nazo.
It's a safe place.
It's a safe place. You definitely know kuti futa muna muship guest and opinion because vanotoita scanning yakasimba chaiko little things like vanotoscana even from the time yauri pinda mazibhega ako they scan. So there is like really tight security.
Watomboti munhu komuna akarwara kunenge kwakaita sei kuti munhu marwara makudzoka mune 2 days kuti mudzokere pane here nzvimbo dzokuti kana kakliniko anenge arimo mukoti no musikana andotorwa tono.
Yeah, we have medical clinic. More medical clinic.
Doctors,
there's doctors, there's nurses, there's paramedics. I'm talking of Princess here. I don't know other ships. I'm talking about Princess. Paramedic. If I'm to fall down in ndikatofenda kunotoitwa emergency tozonditora and then go with me. They have got a proper clinic with everything, because in pandakabatwa blood pressure vakatotanga kutondipa medication from there. Every month I would collect my medication from there. And if you are seriously ill, and there was a time I broke my finger, I broke vakatotorisa ikatoitwa x-ray. They've got plaster kacho and stuff like that. So it's a proper.
Mama kuchukura.
No, it's I'm not going to answer that. But anyway, I'm very innocent, and I got to rovera door, like I was closing the door and I didn't see my finger was there. So satombofungira ko zvimwe zvinhu.
No,
I'm very innocent. Ndaitwa babasa.
It's okay. Vamwe vanamba dzimitarira tikorwokora iti zvakarwaita sei komuna akafa
atofa. At one point ndakatombosangana with them pushing a dead body. People die vantofa. So I don't know about crew members, but I don't think anyone ndakamboiva in a situation where a crew member died. But I know guests would die, because I've seen very, very sick guests coming in, and I don't know why they allow them to come in, but I've seen it. And they do die. They do have a mortuary. And then they do have a, from what I hear, I don't know if it's true, hanzi panitori nejeri, like if you commit a crime vakamirira kuti vakuise kuti vakuite hand over kana muri pasi vanotori nepekukuvharira. But I don't know, I don't know if it's true or not. It was just my hearsay.
Aboza vari yakwanga iri pakuti mochari itorimo here.
Yeah, mortuary is there from what they say, of course. And then also with Princess vaitoita zvekuti if it's an emergency, like muri pakati pesi, if there's an emergency they can send a helicopter. Yotopika munhu yoita airlifted.
I think
so in terms of medical hangu it's very good.
I mean ashati uchita mubvunzire kubvunza kushipu.
Muzhinji wadaiva.
Muzhinji achadaiva. Muchine mubvunzire kumashuruku ndara mune mubvunzo yamina yekushipa akushipi tambobvunza I think ndapindurika inini.
Mabasa ari legit anowanikwa pamawebsites avo. You know, you can search company websites like Princess, you can go Princess Carriers or whatever. And then but even a problem they have to avoid my links pa Facebook. Because I've seen kuti people are usually, like I've been on Facebook, I see the jobs available, MSc, whatever. And if you look at it, you can actually see even the English is broken. It's not like really constructed well. This is not legit. Really legit. Just stay away from Facebook links. Try to be on LinkedIn. Yeah, it's kind of like way better than Facebook. And also my websites here. Just kungonzwa kuti kune company inonzi MSc or Royal Caribbean. If you just go on their website, when you just follow whatever it says. Just read and follow.
But tombo the contracts appear, but you obviously go Africa stomboda. Stomboda dzoka. Anoti my kuenda kuisa yavona ngosarire koko. Ndotanga kuti madhira angu kana ndofana kuti no shamwari isusu takutora kuZimbabwe pa Vic Falls tunokudzosera ipapo.
But a lot has happened ka kune vanhu that's why they call jump the ship ka kuti wanzichenda kumba peshi then ndonosiwa pa airport then handichaendi kumba ndakuya kuzotorwa kana neteam rangu ndakutonogara paya nenditori illegal.
Pane mamwe ways atogona zongoito
I wouldn't know, but inini hangu you can, you know, okay, I just want to talk about like you can create opportunities kuti, you know, the cruise ship, I believe it's like a stepping stone. For me it was good. I didn't want to be in a cruise ship forever. Saka zvekuzoti there's ways. I think the only way is to apply on land or to create my relationships here my guest, not my sexual relationships, of course, sure. But just like personal relationships. You know, come to my company, you know, pani basa rakadai, I can offer you, and then you can be on land. They can apply a proper visa for you, because I don't think USA is a country that you would want to stay without proper paperwork.
Well, but mari inoitwa ikoko unozotonga mari kako ikatochinja life kutoti
yeah, of course. For me it was a game changer. I don't want to lie, because where I was at that time, I was at a time where panandiri pa zero.
No, for
me I'm talking about for pay. Ndutaura nezvepay pay chaichaiyo kutoti yeah, because it was a lot that I really changed. You can ukatorega kuita munhu wekuti you want to shop a lot, you want to do this. Also, you find yourself having your own land. Wototanga kutoita ka foundation kako paya watotenga kana ka stand kako ameno ma stand 10,000 you can manage to buy a stand in per contract, you know, if you really save well. So for me it's something that I did manage, something that I never thought kuti just uzigona ndrindega ndasiwa nemurume, you know.
Okay.
So it's actually a game changer. All you just have to know is what you went there for. You didn't go there to be shopping around or, you know, to be showing off, going up. You went there to work so that you can do something at home. So mari dzachona hazvifanani nemunhu, and also it depends with your situation kuti yanga yakaita sei uri kumba, because unogona kuenda kuchiendera kana 2.5 but Sparks achikuudza kuti inini kana ndichitoendawo kune ndichoda kunobata 10,000 a month. Waona, saka ndizvandinotaura. Saka isusu I'm talking about me kuti I was pazero. Waona, nanga ndiri munhu anga akamirira kutumirwa mari kunzi mari yevana, mari yechi, and then now you're making your own 2.5. You're making your 3,000, getting tips and stuff. Saka nandiri paribo. So this, it depends with you where you're coming. Nogonoenda pandaishanda inini. Nogonongowaudza kuti unogona mutora, anogona kungokuita tena.
Guys, kutipinza ipapo ndikuona kuti.
Yeah. Togonotongoti aitongomupinza ipapa.
And vanoti, what are the requirements? Like, vanoda masubjects api, vanoda chii?
I think ndobvunza ndazotukirwa nevanhu kunzi Sparks magara nemunhu akumashivi mukubvunza zvinhu zvebonde akubvunza nyaya dzemarequirement.
Yeah, for sure. You just need experience if you're just like applying for like a basa, like for restaurant, housekeeping, what else, like my reception. You only need experience. They are not even going to ask you about your O levels. They're not going to even ask you about any certificate whatsoever. Right. So all you need is to construct your CV, make a nice CV, your cover letter, and then. But the thing is, it's now different because when I applied, to be honest, it was just a simple. I don't even know how I made it if I look at the CV. But now people are talking about you have a nice CV. You have to have at least 2 years experience plus, and yeah, that's it. Not really zvekuti vamwe vanoti ndaita course yakati hazviendese kumashipi zvemacourse. So because they're not going to ask you for anything like an apply in the departments that I told you about. Excuse me.
Adzigamba sata kudzokera. I think mubvunzo yese yanga ndinayo ndainzwawo zvandainzwawo about maships ndatry kubvunza shandipo wandizvo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miki. Bo. Sheriff. Bo. Right, mapenga oisando. I think ndasinaito interview yakanaka ndisina kubva ndamboda kutenga manopenga. Ndaitenga manopenga ripeshi.
Bijana.
But daita last episode patakawostata iti panapa tichiti nyaya isi mibvunzo yangu ini inyaya ndema-answers awatipa iweyo ndo anokosha. Ndinoti ndevona kuti pasina munhu akutobvunza tona kutobvunza ndotongokatwa inini, but chakakosha ndema-answers.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy.
Chinoitika vanhu vanovhunduka kamera, they end up wakutaura zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti zvinenge extreme. Do you know one thing I liked about Taitika? Apa wetisiye apa. You are not forced kudaira mubvunzo yese painterview. Vanhu vanotonge Sparks anobva toti haubve pakamera apa usina kuanza mubvunzo.
Anyway guys, uncensored ndekuona reason why tichita show ino ndekuti information imwe tiitaure, imwe inonzi aitaurwe, tichita inonzi uncensored podcast ino. Zvimwe zvinhu zvisingataurwi inowana nonga tingozvitaura mumastreets umu tichingohwanda but tichida toenda kumacruise ninga vamwe vacho totambidzawo hanzvadzi dzedu kuenda tichanzwa information isiriyo chiti munozona abuswa makuzonzi no unozoitwa sex toy saka ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvatechese zvati tichingoitira mashows akadai. Thank you very much nekuuyawo nokuoutspoken vanhu vaadzidza nokuona zvaitika. Vanga vari kuvacation nokuvagwana. Thank you very much nekudzoka. Yeah, muitalian wako nokuzvibatira wako tinongokubva panapa wakamboenda futi kumashopu kumashipi ikoko but vangangoendawo zvekungovhizitawo chichichi vangogogo so ngatakaita interview last time and ndawana futi muitalian wangu wainditswinga.
Italians, they love black women. Most Italians.
Ko mabhebha acho haadi here.
Mabhebha acho nafuti, it's actually vice versa because and they are so welcoming. Hapana zviro zvekuti udanane munhu mutema. They are so much welcoming, Shem. into their group, they welcome you so
bodawo kamurungu
Ndakulaza, murungu.
mulazo womurungu boys tokuramba tiko kusvika rini nai kusvika rini nai nehanda nyakasikana kusvika rini Sparks asikambolazo womurungu. Anyway, thank you very much my sister. Tete Shandi, thank you very much.
ripo.
Aiwa, Mwari vakuitire zvakanaka. Saka izvozvi zvinhu right. Asi right, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Can you put the with that, we out.